Hello and welcome back once again to movie reviews. So I just remembered that back in the first video I did after my cold, Ant-Man, there was something else I wanted to say that I forgot to say, so I'm going to say it now. I want to apologize for the sound quality once again in these videos. I noticed last time, a while back, I actually just started recording directly through the camera audio and it wasn't horrible, but I've recently, after editing the last couple videos that I did, found out that it's doing a lot of that popping and crackling again, and I want to apologize for that because it's the camera. The camera actually fell. I had the camera on the tripod sitting on my desk so I could film whenever I wanted, and somehow the table got bumped, tripod toppled over, camera took a nice tumble to the floor. It actually knocked loose the connection cable between the camera and my computer, which I'm using to just capture everything straight to the computer instead of to a tape and then over to the computer. It also broke my tripod, snapped one of the legs completely off of it, the head broke off, and actually last time I watched a tape in this, it had lines all through it, so it's probably all shot to shit. And I think it somehow damaged the speaker as well. But I am going to be getting a new camera before CES this year, so I don't know when, but it is on my shopping list. So hopefully, once I do that, all these audio problems will be gone. I could switch back over to using my microphone, but that I still don't have fully set right, because what I realized is the headphone out port doesn't, on my mixer, doesn't actually give you the sound that's actually coming out from the mixer. It gives you the sound coming out before all the channels, which I don't understand why. So I actually need to get different headphones that can actually split out from the control room port or something like that, so I can actually hear what's going out to you guys instead of just what's coming into the mixer. Because I'm hearing everything before it goes into the mixer and not as it's coming out of the mixer is the problem. Which is why it's hard for me to get the audio adjusted on there properly. But anyway, with all that said, again, I apologize for the sound problems. I will be getting them fixed, I promise. Also, with the new camera, hopefully I can start recording these in slightly higher quality. Probably need to get a couple spare hard drives because these ones are filling up fast. Yeah, so overall, there are updates coming. Just gotta be patient. Money's still a little tight, but not as tight as it was. So things are going to be coming as they come. That's the best I can do. Anyway, on to the movie review. The next movie up on the list of things I saw that I haven't filmed yet would be Terminator Genisys. So I believe this is number 5 in the Terminator series, 5 or 6. I think it's 5. So yeah, Terminator, Terminator 2, Terminator 3, which was the one with the chick robot, Salvation, which was the one in the future that was kind of crap. Then this one, is that all of them? So yeah, this would be like number 5. So, what did I think of the movie overall? Personally, I liked it. A lot of other people before I saw it were like, "Oh, it sucks. Don't waste your money," blah blah blah. And I don't like going into that because, like, one guy I work with, we were talking about a movie the other day, and he was like, "Oh, why are you even going to waste your money on it? It's going to suck." I was like, "How do you know it's going to suck? You haven't even seen it yet." He's like, "Well, everyone says it sucks. Blah 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 blah." And I was like, "So you just don't go see movies because somebody else says they suck?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, that doesn't work for me. I don't want you guys to not go see a movie or go see a movie based just on my opinion. If it looks good to you, go see it. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. My opinion is my opinion. Yours is yours. Most movie critics, they'll see a movie and be like, "Oh, it's the worst piece of trash ever made," and I'll watch it and I'm like, "I love this film. What the hell are these guys talking about?" Other movies are like, "Oh, it's the best movie of the year. It's possibly the best movie of the decade, of the century." And I'll watch it and I'm like, it's, crap. It's the same shit we always see. Why is this the best movie ever when, it's like, as beautiful as Avatar was, and everyone said, "Oh, it's an amazing film," then how many people were comparing it to Dances with Smurfs? You know, I can see both sides of that argument. Like I said, I liked Avatar, but again, it was an overhyped Hollywood blockbuster type of thing, and you know, that's why I don't really buy into critics. I don't want you guys to buy into what I say. I'm just offering you my opinion. You know, there's movie film critics and other reviewers online that I watch, and as much as I like watching them, I don't agree with a damn thing they say. They'll be like, "Oh, I like this movie and this movie and this movie because of this," and I'll watch the movies, or it's a movie I've seen. I'm like, "Oh God, how can you even say that about that movie?" You know, like it would be a great like point counterpoint type of thing, or a debate, you know, pros and cons type of thing, but you know, like I don't stop watching them because I don't agree with any of their movie selections. I still enjoy watching them, and that's what I hope you guys get out of me, is enjoyment, watching me sit here and mumble randomly for an hour and a half or however long this video will be, because it's already up to 6 minutes and I'm just rambling. So yeah, don't fully invest in a movie based on what I say, because okay, perfect example is one of the product placements. I commented on liking one of the bags of chips or something, and I was like, you know, yeah, I liked it, I recommend it. And another guy, you know, a friend of mine, he saw the video and he's like, I tried those and they tasted like shit. You know, it's like, you know, I liked them, you didn't. You know, don't judge everything based on me. Try it out for yourself. Get a camera, sit down, try it, make a video, throw it on YouTube. You know, who knows? You'll probably be more popular than me because I only have 16 subscribers as of the recording of this video. So yeah, anyway, back to the movie review. Went and saw Genisys. I enjoyed it, but I understand some of the aspects that the problems that some people had with certain aspects of the film, but at the same time, it didn't make me not like the movie. It's almost the Star Trek argument. Like when the J.J. Abrams Star Trek came out, everyone was like, "Oh, it's a piece of shit. It destroyed all the continuity and da 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 da." And then, like all of a sudden, when the sequel came out, I was like, "Oh yeah, these are the best franchise of movies ever." Blah, blah. And it's like, wait, you just hated the first one, but then you went and saw the second one and enjoyed the second one, so now it retroactively makes the first one good. Where, you know, I always enjoyed the first one. Other than a couple minor parts, which I probably reviewed. I don't remember. Did I review the first Star Trek? If not, I might do it as a DVD review, because I am planning to do those. I got all these DVDs here. Okay, so back to Genisys. I understand why people didn't like certain aspects, but at the same time, it's a time travel movie, people. Everything can change because it involves time travel. Does it destroy the old continuity? No. And yes. And no. It doesn't destroy the old continuity. The old continuity happened in order to get us to this new continuity. That's why I hate talking about time travel. Like, I love the concept of time travel, but so many people get so turned around on concepts that they don't understand the differences between certain aspects of time travel. It almost has to harken back to the split timeline theory of Back to the Future 2? Yeah. So, the original continuity took place. You know, the Terminator came back, tried to kill Sarah Connor when she was a waitress. That leads to her and Reese having sex and having John Connor. John Connor grows up, blah, 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 happens. This happened all the way into the third one, because Judgment Day didn't happen in 1997 like it was originally supposed to. It got postponed until like 2001 or whatever. So that was a shift in continuity there. So why didn't you harken on that movie as hard as you harkened on this one? But then, based on that, they do something else that goes back in time and creates an alternate timeline, which creates a whole new series of events. It doesn't mean the other series of events aren't still happening in the same span, just on parallel universes. It just means that this is a further continuity shift. God, I'm just rambling. You guys are probably like, what the hell is he talking about? Just tell us about the movie, right? Okay, so the basics of this movie is we're in the future with John Connor. He's the leader of the Resistance, which I'm actually happy to see that he's actually a leader this time, unlike whatever the hell's going on in Salvation, where he's like, I'm John Connor, I'm the leader of the Resistance, and somehow military power was still in action to say, no, you're just a soldier, you're going to do what we tell you to do. That, yeah. That was only one of that movie's flaws. Otherwise, I still like that movie, though. Strangely, it's like a guilty pleasure. I still like it, even though it has several flaws. This movie does change continuity to a degree. I'll get into that later. So, John Connor's the leader. They're getting ready to send Kyle Reese back because it's finally to the day where, okay, this is as far as my forward knowledge goes. This is the day I send you back, and that's it. That's all the information I have. After this, we're flying blind. So he's going to send Kyle Reese back to protect his mother, because that's what he has to do. And when Kyle Reese goes back, it turns out that Skynet, after realizing they failed the first time to kill Sarah Connor, decides to go further back in time. So they send another Terminator further back in time to kill Sarah Connor when she's like 8 years old. Somehow, the Resistance finds out about it again and sends another Terminator back to protect her at 8 years old. Which would be old Arnold. And they do explain how he's old in the film. It sort of makes sense, but sort of not. You just kind of have to suspend your disbelief on that one. So he goes back to protect her. So then he starts training her from the time that she's 8 up until that moment. So when Kyle Reese shows up, she's not the defenseless waitress being attacked by a Terminator. She's actually kicking everyone's ass and actually ends up saving Kyle Reese. Up until that point, though, they did a very good job recreating scenes from the first one. So I did enjoy that. We actually get to see young Arnold fight old Arnold, which was a little unexpected. So that's probably the first point where everyone's like, oh, you destroyed all the continuity of the original. The original never happened. It's like, no, it did. This is just a different thing that's going on. Really, they could have shifted it to where they could have had both stories going on side by side and had both things happening at the same time, but that would have got more confusing. So Sarah ends up saving Kyle, and he finds out that everything's been changed, and so now he's kind of flying blind, not sure what he's supposed to be doing. So Sarah and old Arnold reveal that they've been developing a time jump gate, just like the one they use in the future, and they're going to use it to jump forward to 1997 to stop Skynet from starting, which really they should have just let the events of the movies play out, because they stopped that anyway until 2001 or whatever. But then Kyle says, no, wait, I have memories from this second life that I never lived, where I'm talking to myself, and it's telling me not to go to then, don't go to that time, go to this time. So, he has to convince her, because she doesn't trust him, because she just met him, even though she knows what is supposed to happen, that he's supposed to be the father of the child and die and all that. So, eventually, he convinces her to trust him. They go to this new time, and we find out about this new operating system that's supposed to basically be the Internet of Things that everyone's advertising now, this one network that's supposed to run everything, that's called Genisys. Well, what it turns out, spoiler, is Genisys is Skynet in disguise. Someone came back from the future to help Cyberdyne Systems develop Genisys over the failure of Skynet, I guess. They didn't really explain how Skynet turned into Genisys, but it's just kind of been rerouted. They do mention Miles Dyson from the second one. He's not involved in it, but really, I kind of wish they would have like said more about how he was involved originally, because it's kind of like he even started developing Skynet. It failed, but he doesn't say how it failed, which leads into the idea that the events of the second one still took place, and then they're building Genisys off of failed Skynet. But it doesn't really make sense. Yeah, it does, but it doesn't. God, have I said anything about this movie yet? It's like 15 minutes into this, and I can see why people hated it, because it is kind of a convoluted storyline. Honestly, it's better to just watch it and kind of take everything in for yourselves. So, but we'll continue on. So, turns out Genisys is Skynet, so they're trying to shut it down. And, of course, it wouldn't be Terminator without a new form of Terminator being introduced. And, big spoiler, because this is where there's a big shift in the continuity that they don't ever address, that is kind of an issue for me, but at the same time I think they do address it, it's just not obvious. And basically that is, again, spoiler, the new Terminator is John Connor. And it's not a replica of John Connor, it is John Connor. Skynet or Genisys or whatever managed to develop a new technology where a Terminator infiltrated their group on the day of Reese going back and managed to attack John and injected him with something. And basically it was like a nanobot that took over every cell in his body and eventually erased John Connor and created a Terminator inside his body. It still has all his memories and everything, so it can pass off as John Connor because it is still John Connor. It's just now under the control of these nanobots, which are controlled by Skynet, or Genisys, whichever one you want to call it. And it turns out he's the one that came back and helped build Skynet, or build Skynet into Genisys. But the part of the continuity that it screws up for me is from part 3, where the whole point is, what's her name, Claire Danes is John Connor's wife, and that she's the one who sent Arnold back in the third one because Arnold, that Terminator ended up killing John Connor, and then she took over the Terminator and reprogrammed it to send it back to protect her and John in the third one, which is why it doesn't listen to John in the third one. So it's saying that the Arnold version of the Terminator was actually the one that killed the Terminator, but John's wife was also present for all these events. But John's wife was never shown in this new version, and it wasn't the Arnold bot that ended up killing John. It was this other one who was played by Matt Smith from Doctor Who. The 11th? Yeah, 11th Doctor? 12th Doctor? I don't know. Which one was he? Matt Smith. Bow ties are cool, that guy. Yeah, I think he's 11. It's been a while since I watched it. But, so yeah, it wasn't the Arnold bot killing him at all, it was the Matt Smith bot. So that kind of destroys the continuity, although there's always the question of who sent back the old Arnold bot to protect Sarah when she was 8, because they said early on that they don't know. When he came back, his memory of who had sent him was gone. Someone was trying to remain secretive so that, I guess, Skynet couldn't track him and end up going and killing them instead to prevent them from sending the bot back. So he has no memory of who sent him or anything, which Kyle Reese kind of questions, well, like, maybe he was programmed to not remember and he's, like a sleeper agent, eventually he's going to snap out of it and kill you anyway. But it could also be that John's wife, who wasn't present when he died, is the one who sent him back. But they don't actually address that. They leave it open. In fact, they leave this whole movie open for another sequel, which who knows how many years it'll be before we get that, because it's been when did the Salvation come out? Like 2005, so wow, has it been 10 years? And then the third one came out just a couple years before that. So we usually get one and then a sequel and then a period between. So we might get the sequel to this one, although from what I hear, box office was down on this one, so hopefully, box office has been down on most of them, and we still end up getting a sequel. If Arnold wants it, it'll happen. So yeah, regardless of box office, we'll end up getting a sequel to this. It just depends on whether it continues this continuity or whether it just like overrides everything again. So where was I? So yeah, it turns out John became a Terminator. He's the one who went back to help create Genisys off of Skynet, and basically they just had the big battle between him and the Arnold bot, which of course, once it comes down to it, the Arnold bot ends up winning, sort of, and that's more or less the end of the movie. Like I said, they do leave it open for a sequel, especially if you stay after the credits. There is a little stinger after the credits that leaves it even more open for a sequel. But yeah, so that's more or less Terminator Genisys. Nothing I said has probably enticed you to go see the movie other than out of confusion. But like I said, overall I did enjoy it. There are some continuity gaps, probably more for other people than there were for me. But if you like Terminator, it doesn't hurt to check it out. Most people watched Salvation and ended up hating it, and they still watched it because it was a Terminator film. So if nothing else, give this one that benefit of the doubt. If you can overlook the problems as much as I did, you may actually enjoy it as much as I did, or you may end up coming off hating it. As far as a star rating on this one, like I said, I enjoyed it, so I don't want to rate it low, but at the same time, it did have some major issues. I'm going to be fair to this one and give it a 3. Just middle of the road, nothing above or below. I almost, because of how I've been incoherently rambling for the last 23 minutes about this movie, I almost want to drop it down to a 2.5. But like I said, I did enjoy it, and I think it deserves better than that. So it's getting a 3 for me. For you guys, it might be less. Like I said, at least maybe when it comes out on Redbox, or eventually it'll be on Netflix, or hell, you can probably find a bootleg of it somewhere online if you really want to check it out. But it's worth a watch. Either you're going to like it or you're not. Me personally, I did. And that's really about all I can say about it. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for this episode. I do got one more movie review coming up, unless I go see something in the next couple days, which I might, because I think Fantastic Four just opened, and I do want to see that, even though I've been hearing a bunch of negativeness about that as well. But I'm still going to check that one out. Not sure when, probably after I get over this cold. So that'll be coming up too. I don't really think there's much else opening anytime soon that I really want to see. So I might just have to hit up a couple things that are out, but I don't want to go like crazy and start spending a bunch of money on stuff I don't really want to see, because like I said, I am still in a bit of a financial crunch. But yeah, don't want to go over that again. So that's it for this episode. As always, thanks for watching, and until next time, we'll see you at the movies.